What's up, guys? Welcome to a new day. I'm Stephanie Ryder, and this is the 365 Shares podcast. What's up, guys? It's February 16th, 2024, and today's topic is service. I accidentally took a few days off. On Friday, I had such a busy day that by the time I went to bed, I didn't even remember that I hadn't done the podcast. And the next day I was like, oh my God, I missed it. And then Saturday was super busy. And today's Sunday. So I'm catching up on Friday, Saturday, and I'm going to do Sunday. But we're still going to do all the individual days because we have individual topics for every day. And I don't even have any listeners yet, except for a couple of friends. So it's really not a big deal. And I just want to make sure that eventually we will have a body of work that is 365 shares with all the topics that are in the Strengthening My Recovery book put out by Adult Children of Alcoholics. The Big Red Book says, the sincere adult child working an ACA program of meeting attendance and selfless service gets results with step 7. This is the short path when we struggle with a troublesome shortcoming. Since I have a few episodes to do today, I'm just going to get right into my share, so let's do this. I'm Steph, and this is my share. So service is a great topic for the Friday share because I was busy mostly running around with my mother-in-law. She's not really my mother-in-law because my partner and I are not legally married, but his mom has been living with him. She has a lot of health problems. She's had a very difficult life, was born in a big family with not a lot of money, has had pretty much every type of trauma and abuse that anyone can suffer in her life. And she has a lot of physical health problems and some mental health problems, but it all kind of goes together. We also just figured out that she probably has some brain damage from some domestic abuse that she suffered a long time ago. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. But she has a lot of different doctors. I ran her around to some appointments on Friday, and she can't drive. We're probably gone for like 5 or 6 hours, or I was gone for 5 or 6 hours between like leaving my house and getting back to my house. And it was Friday afternoon, so it's just a lot of traffic. She's very chatty, and I love her, but since she's had so many things happen to her, she just talks about like all the things that have happened to her, and it's this big trauma dump. So it was a lot of energy of me driving around in traffic, and I always have to make sure I'm driving extra carefully because I obviously don't want to get her killed. And I'm responsible for her when I have her out there, and she just has a lot to talk about. So I listened to that. And when I'm out with her, I realized I just have to be in sort of this very masculine energy where I have to be very protective of her because she's old and she's little and she's frail and she's one of the most important people to my partner and he's one of the most important people to me. So she's important to me. In addition to that, if we think about it in the framework of internal family systems, when I'm with her, my protector part is out. That part I named Angelina. She's very tough and she gets things done, but she really doesn't want to be the everyday face of the operation. She really likes to come out more for emergencies or just like certain things that she thinks are fun. She likes to watch the more shows that are about drama and like murder and people and car chases and stuff like that. The Fast and Furious franchise, or my partner and I just started this show, The Tourist, which is on Netflix with Jamie Dornan. That's really good. She likes that. Angie was out a lot Friday and a lot out on Saturday because then on Saturday, I took her to a Reiki appointment, which was great. And I think she really liked it. It's someone I've done Reiki with. And this person did my Reiki 1 attunement, which means I can practice on myself and on friends, which is really nice. But I had to drive east to pick up my mother-in-law, and then we had to drive west and north to go to the Reiki appointment. And then we had to drive all the way back after I waited for her for like an hour and a half while she was doing her appointment. So it was just it was 2 long days where I was gone for like 5 or 6 hours at a time. So aside from not having the time to record, I also just didn't have the energy. When I do this podcast, I'm like in my Steph energy, I'm in my, healing energy. And when I'm in that protector energy, I just don't really feel like I have the time to be introspective. And that protector's not really here to save anyone else in the world. She's really only here to like take care of me and my loved ones. So it took me a little bit of time after Friday and Saturday being so busy to like get back into my Steph energy and get to where I was like excited for the podcast and I could actually talk about the past couple of days. So I slept in, which was great. I probably fell asleep like by 1 a.m. and then I slept until like 10 a.m. when my alarm went off, which was amazing. And then I had a massage at noon and then I went to see some live music for an hour after that. So it really just got me back into like a better headspace where I feel really calm. And that all relates to service because I was giving service. I was helping someone who is a fellow adult child. I was helping someone who is sick and is working actively on their recovery. And I am really proud of her. She could choose to not go to the doctor. She could choose to not go to therapy. She could choose to not go to these energy healing appointments, but she's doing everything. It's amazing. She said she has more to live for in life, which I totally agree with. I hope there are a lot more good things to come for her. So it's great to give service, and it's great to give service to a good cause, a family cause, a fellow traveler, but it also just takes a lot out of you. In ACA, we talk about giving service. A lot of times that's leading a meeting or doing other things for the group. But really, it can be any kind of service. I think this was definitely giving service. The only thing that is hard about it is that it puts me into my very codependent energy where I give, and then sometimes I feel resentful when I get tired. And I was feeling resentful, honestly, when I realized that I forgot to do the podcast on Friday because I had done it every day so far. And I really thought I could get through the whole year, like doing it every day before I went to bed on that day. And to not even get a little more than halfway through February and already have missed a day. And I was really beating myself up. So my critical inner voice was getting me and was like, why are you doing all this stuff? You should just be focused on yourself. So it's just really hard. We have to have that mix between being helpful and being a community versus doing the things for ourselves that we know we need to do. So it's a balance between being a good person, not being too codependent. There's a lot that goes into it. But that's kind of where I was with that. I have 2 more shares to do today. So I think that's all on service, but I'm sure I'll have more to talk about that will pop into my head. And luckily the next 2 shares are also sort of unrelated topics. So I can get a little bit more into the meat of what's been going on in those shares as well. But for today, I will end with the affirmation about service from the Strengthening My Recovery book, which says, on this day, I will continue to work on my defects of character and shortcomings and share my personal progress and the results I have received with those who will hear me. So that was me sharing my personal progress with those who will hear me, which is all of you. So thank you for hearing me.